104th years of existence. I always like to show this picture because it's rather instructive. Doesn't matter the front line where all vice deans and dean is. What matters is actually the background where you can see our mixed international and domestic choir. It's the choir of students of medical studies, both in Croatian and English program, and it symbolizes in a way the unity that exists among the students. So we are proud that apart from Croatian program, there is an English program with 29 countries represented, and Israelis are growing in number, and they, I think, now represent our main actually body of students that are about to be accepted this year. Just a quick reminder on geography. Here we are. The arrow is pointing at Croatia, which, by the way, if there will be again a direct flight established, it used to be before the pandemics, so it will take you 2 hours maximum from Tel Aviv airport, from Ben Gurion to reach Croatia. As you can see, Croatia is surrounded by European Union countries, but also non-European countries. I mean, the countries that are not the members of European Union. Across the Adriatic Sea is Italy, then in the north, Slovenia and Austria, mostly alpine, very nice countries. Then there is Hungary, and in just a few hours you can reach Vienna, you can reach Paris, you can reach Milano, any place of interest, and any European actually capital. Here we are. This is Zagreb. Actually, this is the capital of Croatia, but we have, in addition to Zagreb, several other very important points. So there is in flatland Osijek, for instance, with its university, then a port, a huge port that Croatia has, the largest one in Rijeka. There is also Split, and of course Dubrovnik in the south. So as you can see, clearly the country has a continental and also coastal part. Within the coastal part, there are more than 1,000 islands. Recently, Croatia joined Schengen zone. So in European Union, or in European Union terms, that means that you are not going to show your passport when crossing Slovenia or Hungary, for instance, or any other member of European Union. You are also not in a need to change money, because Croatia is now also in Eurozone, which means the official currency is euro, and there is also no need to frequent change of currency, because all the surroundings and all surrounding countries actually use euro. The country itself is a kind of a Catholic country with almost 98% of people, Christians, Roman Catholics, but we have also a very, very vibrant Jewish community that cooperates with us wonderfully, and I'm going to tell you something about later on. I'm going to skip this movie. I hope, Moshe, you can post it to MD International website. It actually illustrates the richness of the country in terms of nature, of beauty of nature. A lot of monuments, a lot of old ancient cities are represented in this video, so please try to look at it and review it. But these are some of the venues of Zagreb. Cathedral, the Central Square, some of the major museums are here. also some recreational areas. As you can tell, a city has a lot of green areas, which is very nice, I think. And the city is also famous for its food. So like Israelis, we very much like to enjoy food. And nowadays there are a whole variety of various restaurants, both national and international. I think also Israeli restaurants are there with kosher food, so no problem to satisfy your gastronomic needs. Croatians used to be and are a kind of a smart guys, and I can tell you this with good reasons, because they, for instance, in the area of forensic medicine, invented criminal fingerprinting. Of course, now this is hugely substituted with DNA analysis, but yet it's a very important method how to identify a person. Croats also invented azithromycin or Zitromax. It's one of the most powerful antibiotics. And I have to tell you that now Teva is actually the company also situated in my town, in capital in Croatia, that owns this factory where Zitromax has been invented originally. We are also famous for the invention of a necktie or cravat, which comes from the era of Louis XIV, a famous French king. Then on one tiny island, which is called Prvić, there was inventor Faust Vrančić that actually invented a parachute. Also one inventor, David Schwartz, probably of Jewish origin, he was actually the guy that invented airship or Zeppelin. And at the end, I would like to mention this guy here, Nikola Tesla. You probably heard about Tesla cars. So all these cars were named after Nikola Tesla, that invented a lot of things, including alternative current. We have also some other actually inventors that are now included into the race of producing electric vehicles. This one has, I don't know how many hundreds horsepower, so it's a famous Rimac factory. Probably you heard about these factories as well. Okay. As for the University of Zagreb, it actually combines tradition and strong foundation with a modern approach. So this is actually a picture depicting the rectorate, the seat of the university. In front of the university, there is a monument from our famous sculpture. It's the mother of Croats. And as you can see, it's quite a large university with more than 30 faculties and 3 arts academies. Faculties means actually schools in European high education language. And there are nowadays, I think, almost 80,000 students. So it's quite a large university, but the University of Zagreb School of Medicine has been established in 1917, unlike the 17th century as the university per se. So the school is relatively young, but yet it has more than 100 years of tradition. So we try to combine modern and traditional styles. So the main complex that is currently in reconstruction bears actually a lot of buildings that were built during the Austro-Hungarian Empire. You have to recall the European history a little bit. Croatia was sharing the common history with Hungary and Austria for 500 years. So that was quite a period. So the programs that we offer are in Croatian and English language. Of course, you are mostly interested in MD program in English language that is actually designed according to European standards. So what does it mean? It means actually 5,500 hours of organized teaching, 6 years of studies, and also 360 European credit transfer points. There are also 10 to 15% of electives embedded in the curriculum. The title that you will actually earn is medical doctor, doctor medicine in Latin, or a general practitioner. That is actually the British, let's say, this description of this degree. However, nowadays you have to specialize family medicine in order to be a specialist in general practice. Here you can see some of the venues of our main hospital where I also work, University Hospital Zagreb. It's a hospital that has more than 1,200 medical doctors employed, 43 operational theaters, all, let's say, very complicated treatments like lung transplantation, heart transplantation, bone marrow transplantation, tissue banking, a lot of heart surgeries, etc., are performed actually in this hospital. We are very proud as a program, Medical Studies in English, that the European Union awarded us as a first biomedical school with this certificate. It was in Paris on the 27th of February 2015. So we were actually bestowed with a quality in internationalization certificate. The program itself has 3 clear segments: basic sciences, clinics, and public health. On your right, you can see our anatomy department that actually harbors the richest collection of human skulls, for instance. There are a lot of anatomy specimens that you can study and look, but you can also use some modern digital programs or digital anatomy as well. This is biochemistry department. As you can see, people are very busy. They are participating in practicals at that department. And this is from Dubrovnik, which is a famous place, touristic place, but also has inter-university center. You can see our students here training resuscitation. This is Vesna Degoricia, professor in emergency medicines, that is monitoring their work. And this is Linda, our student from Canada, with a supervisor. They are examining one patient at University Hospital Zagreb. Linda is actually a prototype, let's say, of a successful Canadian students that matched actually with Canadian system and got without any problem her specialization in Canada. There is no successful medical school without simulation centers. You can see a lot of mannequins here. Some are for adult process of resuscitation. Some are for prepubertal resuscitations. There are also dolls that mimic small children. So everything is here, and it is very important that you also possess some practical skills in addition to theoretical skills. In the process of education, we are not alone. So we have a number of visiting professors or lecturers, as you can see, from Los Angeles, Ohio University, Cornell University, University of Vienna, or University of Hamburg. So in average, this now is this approach is returning because, of course, during the Corona times, we had to shrink this program. Now we are expanding it, so approximately 15 visiting professors participate in medical studies in English per year. We have also a very important aspect of internationalization, which is called joint electives. So with University of Kent, we present a palliative care elective with University of Leuven, cardiac imaging, with University of Manchester, allergy, pediatric allergy, and with University of McGill, pharmacoeconomics. And you can see some of these people from abroad, and some are coming from Croatia, participating in these courses. Very important for us is international cooperation. As you can see here, actually we participate in one huge European program, which is called Erasmus+. We have actually Erasmus+ contracts with a number of institutions and countries that are coming from European Union, like France, Germany, Italy, Slovenia, Slovakia, Spain, and many others. But for us, it is also important to have US and Canadian partnership. So some of the partners are enlisted here, like University of Georgia, Medical University, South Carolina, Penn State University, Medical College of Wisconsin. All these institutions are among top 30% of US medical universities or medical institutions. We are also very proud on our Israeli students because if probably you heard about USMLE, and Moshe can tell you later on much more about it, but USMLE is a kind of international standardized exam also for United States, but other countries like Israel or Australia or New Zealand, they are also accepting these results of USMLE. And in red bars, you can see actually people that achieved quite envious scores, and they come from Israel. So the passing rate of USMLE concerning Israeli students that graduated from our program is very high. We have a kind of a Harvard associated or affiliated hospital model. So this is this larger hospital I was talking about, University Hospital Zagreb, but there is another one which is called University Hospital Sisters of Mercy, and a number of other specialized hospitals for children's diseases, for orthopedics, for endocrinology and diabetes, etc. We are also very proud on our tradition in the area of public health. So this is the school Andrija Štampar, which is actually named after this professor over here. His name was Andrija Štampar, and he was actually one of the founders of World Health Organization, WHO. And annually, a lot of guests, distinguished guests, visit this facility. So unlike in United States, in Zagreb, School of Public Health is actually united. It is a part of medical school. Another very important institution is Croatian Institute for Brain Research that harbors the largest collection of human brains in Europe. And it's quite a modern facility with a lot of research laboratories. We also stimulate students to undertake some scientific mini projects. You can see here in my lab guest students from Loma Linda, university from California. This is one student from University of Georgia displaying her poster, being in our school and pursuing some also scientific project, and then presenting this at the conference in Georgia. We have also a number of very, very important European projects that got practically maximum funding, like osteoprospine. So the maximum funding for European projects is 6 million euro. As you can see, we achieved this in 2 cases. And also we have some infrastructural projects that with significant funding, as well as 2 centers of excellence. One is for reproductive and regenerative medicine with 5 million euro funding, and another for basic translational and clinical neuroscience at a similar financing rate. You, of course, are probably aware that your education will not cease by getting a diploma. So it's almost a must, will be included in some of the postgraduate studies. So here are 2 programs that could be of your interest. One is biomedicine and health sciences in the area of postgraduate studies, and another very strong is neuroscience. There is also a very important facility that we have as a university in Dubrovnik, a famous touristic place, but it's also famous for Game of Thrones, famous film series, where a lot of these episodes were actually shot in Dubrovnik. So we have international university center, or Center for Advanced Academic Studies, where a lot of targeted conferences are held. In addition, there are also continuing medical education courses, and some are running in English, so it's very important to be always aware of the novelties in medicine, which actually renews its knowledge practically. It used to be 5 years, I would say now every 2.5 years. We have also a number of graduates, but also our alumni that are of Jewish origin. For instance, Professor Stevo Julius, a cardiologist. He has more than 20,000 quotations in international journals. And he was, of course, presented an award for Special Certificate of Merit. As for students, it's very important actually to note that students are organized in student association. And for international students, EMED is actually an umbrella organization that represents them, and they are regularly in contact with me and also with the student's office. Okay, let me see whether this is working or not. Okay, so there are a lot of activities that students undertake. For instance, a lot of sports activities. Here you can see a stretches race, or dancing, lambada contest, or here rafting. And I think this is one of my last slides. So as you can see, rafting reflects actually medical studies in English. I hope most of the time you are going to be full of joy and happiness, but sometimes you are going to be worried or anxious how your studies will go on. But I hope most of the time you will be in full control of your studies. So with some of the venues and photos of Zagreb, I'm saluting you. I hope you will be successful during the forthcoming entrance exam, and I hope we will meet in autumn in Zagreb. Thank you very much. Toda.
Students, please write questions in the chat. Diego, can you read the questions to Professor Ježek?
I'm here, yes, no problem.
So
Okay.
first question, where are the entrance exams?
Yes, the entrance exams are actually online. So you don't move from Tel Aviv or you don't move from your place. If you go for MD international courses, then there is a classroom of a capacity of 50, 60 seats. And usually I come in Tel Aviv at the beginning of January, and we have the very first exam in Tel Aviv. So I'm physically present, but you are going to use your laptop and your mobile phone, and you will get very, very precise instructions from us how to use our platform. So there are two platforms that we use. One is LMS, which is Learning Management System, that it's a principal online exam where you have to click correct answers. And another one is more for surveillance. This is a Zoom platform where you can see, like you now see me, I can see you. And we just have to make sure that you are properly attending the online exam. So it's pretty much straightforward and simple.
Professor, so someone is asking about the clinical years. How do they look like in Zagreb clinical years?
This is very important because a couple of years ago, we started a very important partnership with Clalit clinics. And Moshe can again tell you something about this. So there are several options. If you are a very good student, because we have to rank them, you can go first or you have a priority to go to Clalit clinical rotations, or you can stay here with us in Zagreb and do your clinical rotations there. Or you can actually use your ECTS points, so these are European Credit Transfer points, and do it in some other country of European Union. This is also possible. Anyway, a lot of students are now using this Clalit option. What we have to tell you, for the sake of the program, not everybody can go at once. So we have to divide students according to their success during the exams, but everybody in principle does the rotation in a given academic year.
Can I ask you, because we do have some students that are not from Israel in the panel, like how does it work, for example, within the European Union, other countries within the European Union, or even the UK, for example?
It's very simple. There are Erasmus plus programs, but there is also a kind of a free mover status where we actually allow students to go for a certain course of longer duration, like internal medicine or gynecology or pediatrics. So these are massive courses that take 2 or 3 months. We allow students to go there. However, students are obliged to come for the exam. So the exam is pursued in Zagreb, unless you have a proper Erasmus Plus agreement, which entitles another university to pursue the exam. This is the exception to the rule. Also, the Clalit students, they have to go back and take the exam, but this is, according to my information, no problem at all.
Yeah, thank you. Another student is asking about the veterinary program. Can you say something about it?
Yeah, there is a veterinary program in Zagreb in English language. However, this is a separate school that pursues this program. So veterinary school, we can actually provide you with the contact for veterinary faculty, better to say the vice dean that is in charge of this program.
Yeah, we also, I must say that we also have the contact of the veterinary school, because a lot of the students, they go to study veterinary at Zagreb.
Okay, good.
So another student is asking, what about housing in Zagreb? Yeah, can they live inside the university?
Okay, so the usual practice is, especially for Israelis, they hire a private apartment. And we as a university offer some links for agencies that are specialized in this area. So they can find you a proper apartment. And I have to tell you, in comparison with Tel Aviv, you will be positively surprised concerning prices. Oh, I'm always very pleasantly surprised by the growth of Tel Aviv, and another skyscraper is it wasn't when I was a couple of months ago, but the prices are pretty much high. Okay, but it also reflects a huge development that you have down there, and very dynamic development, and this is very nice economically, in economic terms. So in Croatia, although we have now quite European prices, and as I already told you, we have euro as official currency, I think prices are very reasonable, especially if you divide your cost of living with somebody. So Israelis, they usually practice to have a common household, and they share the apartment, usually two of them. So then the prices are even more reasonable.
For sure, for sure. Then another student is asking about if you could specify or speak more about the number of Israeli students in Zagreb every year.
I'm sorry that I don't have precise number, but I would say that now they comprise 70% of our student population. They are of high quality, they are very motivated, they are disciplined, they earn a lot of awards, and they have a very good average grade. And they have also a high level of passing rate of at USMLE, American exam, that I was telling you about. So this year it will be a special year because we will have a lot of them, but I'm much looking forward to them because they proved that they passed our entrance exam, which is mission possible, not impossible, but mission possible. But you have to exercise certain knowledge in physics, chemistry, and biology.
Yeah, thank you. Maya is asking, can you go into more detail about the USMLE? I have heard that the university might stop doing the test.
No. So we actually are registered still with World Federation of Medical Education. This is the body that actually enables USMLE. And our agency for higher education has now registered for acquiring a permission from WFME to pursue the test. It will be a process. So we expect by the end of 2024 that we will have a site visit, which is quite a normal procedure. But to tell you more in detail, I am also in charge for the special commission that has been established at the University of Zagreb School of Medicine, and we are cooperating with the agency that actually is controlling, let's say, the higher education area. So we are rather optimistic, and we think that the site visit of Americans will be at the end of 2024, when we will actually get also their judgment about the status of our agency and the university. It has been always positive, and we are optimistic about this, especially if you bear in mind the results at USMLE, which are also very, very good.
Thank you. Liran is asking, what is the recognition level of Zagreb University Medical School in the world?
Yeah, so in European Union is automatic, so don't worry about this. In UK, the candidates are also very much well accepted. I have a number of former graduates. They are now in London and in most prestigious clinics. So they are very welcome immigrants to UK, for instance. The diploma is widely accepted in Australia and New Zealand. There might be some exams that you have to pass down there, like state exam. So after the cycle of 6 years, you have also a state exam here in Croatia that you have to pass. But you might be also imposed to pass a similar exam, national exam, in, for instance, Australia or New Zealand or in Israel. This is very important. We are a certified school. We have a permission from the State of Israel Health Ministry. The evaluator was twice at our place and has granted this permission that we can also, without any problems, provide you with the diploma. So either you pass USMLE or 3 steps and automatically it is recognized in Israel, or you get a diploma and then you pass your state exam. There was no problem at all concerning the diploma recognition so far, and everybody was very, very much satisfied.
Thank you very much. One of the students is asking if basically the school, what would be the policy of Jewish holidays while students are, do you have any experience?
Yeah, it's always a burning topic. In general, we allow absences during these holidays. There is a 20% of classes that you can miss. You are allowed to miss with good reasons. That can be health reasons, that can be Jewish holidays, etc., etc. Sometimes the faculty members grant the absence themselves or arrange another term to teach or to produce a lecture. So there is a certain flexibility. However, sometimes we are not able to do so, but we respect your wishes in general.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer. Another student is asking if there is any experience with applicants with the first degree in, for example, bachelor's degree of nursing or other bachelor's degree that will exempt a student from doing the exams. I'm assuming Amit is referring to admission exams.
Admission, yeah. We have a number of African people, but they all successfully had passed the exam and have to pass the exam. So nursing is the good qualification. You will have probably better practical knowledge than the rest of the students, but there is no exception to the rule. You have to pass the exam.
All right. Alik is asking when are the admission exams, or how much apart are the admission exams, or when are they held?
So this depends upon Moshe and myself. We have to agree upon that. Usually the first one is in January at the very beginning. Then we have usually one at the end of April, beginning of May, or something like that. And then usually there is also one in June. And this is practically it. Actually, on Wednesday we have the 4th one that is supposed to be mid-July, or actually 12th of July. But this is exception to the rule. Usually we have 3 exams.
And just to clarify regarding to this question, a student that does not make it to the exam can take it again, right?
Yeah, it is possible. So if you fail by any chance in January, you can repeat it in April or May,
Yeah.
or even in June. There are no negative points and no, let's say, negative consequences of doing this.
Very good. And how long after the exam the studies begin? So October, I guess, yeah?
So it's always around the 1st of October. This is the traditional beginning of our academic year. There is, of course, a break during what we call in Europe Christmas holidays, and there is also a summer break.
Yeah. All right. I don't see any more questions from the students. Guys, anything you want to add, ask?
Thank you for your kind interest, and I would be very happy to welcome you all and see you in flesh and blood in Zagreb or in Tel Aviv in January. I don't know what are your intentions and aspirations. And of course, from other students also, I wish all the best.